Paper 6 European and Non-European Writing Part 1 Optional English BA Semester 5 Session 21 Short Fiction Franz Kafka's The Hunger Artist. In the last two sessions, we had discussed about Kafka's the short story Hunger Artist. Now we'll continue the discussion. The story The Hunger Artist, it's a latest craze that he has written about. In the beginning of the story, the Hunger Artist is at the height of his popularity. He's drawing huge crowds to his performances and hopes to be the best hunger artist ever. It's an impure art. Despite his success, the artist is dissatisfied because he doesn't have a complete control over his performance. His manager adds drama his performances to please the lowbrow tastes of audience. Hunger artists are so last year. Suddenly, the hunger artist is no longer popular. We don't know why, we just know that audiences just aren't interested in watching a starving guy in a cage. The manager and the artist toured throughout Europe trying to find an audience, but they have no luck. It's just like another circus sideshow. The climax of the story is, well, anticlimactic. No longer popular, the artist fires his manager and joins the circus, where he is now just a sideshow. The exotic animals are way more popular. It's an unloved, unnoticed, and starving. The hunger artist adjusts to his diminished status in the circus. While in the beginning, the artist still had some hope that someone would appreciate his act. It becomes clear that no one really cares. Most spectators who pass by his cage are in a hurry to get to the animal menagerie. As time goes on, the artist loses track of the days. He finally beats his 40-day fasting record, but no one, not even himself, knows exactly how long he was starved. He was starved to death. The hunger artist entirely disappears from the public eye almost. The circus manager notices the artist's cage, where the weakened artist is buried beneath some straw. The artist whispers his last words to the circus manager, who doesn't seem to care. In conclusion, the popular panther replaces the artist. In a final twist, a young panther replaces the artist. The panther is hugely popular with the crowds, who give the panther the kind of attention they gave the artist at the height of his career. The fact that at this point in time the crowds prefer the panther over the artist makes his death seem more even pathetic. Kafka situates the story not at the heyday of hunger artistry, but during its decline. This provides more focus on the hunger artist's struggle. His motives for starvation are placed under the microscope. Already, the reader can sense a division between art and entertainment, as suggested by the emphasis on the popularity and profitability. The hunger artist's earlier success is to a large degree dependent on the engagement of his audience, the general public. The closer they scrutinize him, the more authentic his act. He is not only separated from them by his cage, a clear symbol of division, but his stark physical appearance also provides a source of mystery and intrigue. By reducing his physical form, the hunger artist becomes less and less like other people, but in doing so, he provokes questions about life and death. It's not clear whether the hunger artist smiles because he is popular or because his act is affecting people in the way he would like. Despite his physical weakness, the hunger artist is still a performer. The offering of his skinny arms and the rejection of his chair are both theatrical gestures designed to perform his hunger. Even though the hunger artist provides himself on the purity of his art, it's clear that he also enjoys the attentions of the audience. He scares the children in much the same way the ghost stories do, offering them a first sense of their own mortality. Because the fact that adults see the act as more fun than fearful predicts the coming decline in its popularity. To give his act the meaning he so longs for, the hunger artist needs external verification in the forms of wardens. Without them, he lacks any proof of his fasting. He depends on them, but they clearly don't take his act as seriously as he does, assuming that he probably cheats. This cheapens the honor that the hunger artist holds so dear, he knows, as do the hypothetical cognizant that his art is too noble to be demanded by sneaking foot. It's ironic, too, that the wardens are usually butchers, people whose livelihoods are so closely involved with food. Unfortunately for the hunger artist, no single individual cares enough to watch him for an entire fast. Logically speaking, then the hunger artist act can never be perceived as 100% pure and authentic. Because in the audience's eye, there is always a chance either he or one of his wardens might be lying. The hunger artist tries to make matters into his own hands by singing all the time. He thinks he can allay the doubts of the disrespectful wardens. Surely, if he is singing, he can't be eating at the same time. It's important that he chooses to sing rather than some of the other methods of keeping the warden's attention. He's like a caged bird whose singing is a small act of freedom in defiance of its imprisonment. But in this case, the hunger artist doesn't sing as an act of liberation. Instead, his singing attempts to make his art purer and more authentic. In other words, he is so defined by his single minded commitment that it actually holds his captive. Again, Kafka reinforces the idea that the hunger artist needs the attention of others to make his art meaningful. He knows that the presence of these warders who hardly take their eye off him make his act generally more believable. Furthermore, it's these moments when his art is most respected that he is almost also most human, enjoying the company of others and swapping stories. That said, these interactions are still defined by his desire to prove the superiority of his fasting abilities even when he gets the desired attention. The hunger artist is still constantly self conscious about how he is perceived. The manager takes advantage of hunger artist's physical weakness. The latter is powerless to resist as the manager manipulates the spectator's perception of him, falsely confirming their suspicion that the artist's anger is due to hunger. In reality, these outbursts do not happen because the hunger artist lacks food. It's because the manager keeps stopping the fast at the 40-day limit, preventing him from further greatness. This reinforces the idea that art and entertainment are sometimes contradictory pursuits. The different desires of the manager and the hunger artists are ultimately incompatible. The hunger artist placement in the layout of the circus reflects his diminished popularity and respect. His art is no more valuable than the art of the circus animals, who, of course, aren't even performers, just living creatures going through their usual bodily functions. For all his attempts to elevate humanity through his art, the hunger artist is quickly becoming a literal nonentity. There is no time to mourn the hunger artist in the cutthroat world of entertainment, and the public certainly doesn't miss him. This new exhibit is much more captivating. The raw animal nature of Panther shows the audience something genuinely different from them and something so much easier to understand than the hunger artist. There is no philosophy indeed to enjoy the panther and its physicality. It's much more impressive than that of the hunger artist. The panther is a creature in its physical prime, in all its muscular glory, quite the contrast with the previous inhabitant of the cage. The circus then supplies what the audience demands, following the market forces that once made the hunger artist a popular act but have since forced him to irrelevance and untimely death.